If just surviving your ADHD isn't good enough for you, and let me be clear, it shouldn't be, then this video is for you because I'm revealing the 4 design rules I live by. I've used these rules to transform my life, and I know you can do the same. So let's get started. Creativity and divergent thinking go hand in hand. It's no wonder that neurodivergents are so often the crafty artist types. Artists are known for their sensitivity, and neurodivergents literally take in more sensory input than neurotypicals. Our senses are more sensitive, and that can work in our favor or against it. These design rules are used to simplify and clarify your message, but they can also be used to simplify and clarify the vision you have for your life. Our creativity isn't just a skill, it's a gift that helps us process our abundant thoughts and intense feelings, and the thoughts and feelings we have about our thoughts and feelings. An art practice can work as an output valve that releases the pressure from an overactive sensory input valve. And that relieves the excess pressure we have in our own minds. Unfortunately, our creativity and creativity in general is not prioritized in our society. Not unless we can repackage it as innovation and make a profit. But that is rarely the sort of creativity that ADHDers long for. So, what do we do about it? Well, most of us surround ourselves with craft projects and just wish that we had more practical skills. Of course, this doesn't stop our creativity, it just sort of dismisses it. It leaves it to wander aimlessly through our lives, causing all sorts of problems that we don't even recognize as creative acts. Things like rumination, rejection sensitivity, and catastrophizing. We have this unbelievable ability to create endless scenarios, and we use them to come up with the worst cases. ADHDers are so much more capable than we ever realize. But to access this, we need to give ourselves permission to play and to explore, to rewrite old narratives, and to celebrate the strange and extraordinary parts of ourselves. I like to think of creativity as something that needs to be protected. It needs to be fostered into greatness, given boundaries and guidance, and a safe place to practice and play. All of these things can be done in the art studio. But creativity isn't just about arts and crafts. It's a mindset that you can use to craft your own story, to problem solve an easier existence, and to build the life of your dreams. But in order to do so, you need to know the rules. These rules are repetition, alignment, proximity, and contrast. And I first learned them while I was studying graphic design. Each one of these rules can be talked about in the art studio or in the self-development world. They're simple and easy to implement. And I want that kind of life for you. So let's break down each one, starting with repetition. In design, repetition is used to draw attention to specific elements. It acts like a highlighter, showcasing important features, information, or even things like branding. That's because repetition generates a sense of familiarity, and that promotes trust. To be honest, my ADHD brain tends to hiss and recoil at the thought of repeating itself. Boring and tedious are practically swear words in my mind. But repetition in design means anything but. It means that something is important. So I started thinking about my routines and repeated activities a little bit differently. What if I started recognizing that importance beforehand? Could I use it to elevate boring activities? The answer is yes. Repetition is a powerful tool for change, as strange as that sounds. You've probably heard that consistency is key. And if you're anything like me, you've thrown your hands in the air in exasperation because consistency and ADHD do not play well together. So don't worry about it because consistency is not key to an ADHD brain. You know what is? Persistency. Because restarting is still repetition. Number two is alignment. In design, alignment works a lot like boundaries. You create a perimeter that boxes in the contents of your design. This creates a visual harmony because all brains, even ADHD brains, love to simplify. The problem is that ADHD brains have more information to sift through before we can pare it down. But regardless of neurotype, following simple rules both calms us and gives us a sense of freedom. It kind of works as a guardrail for our brain, so we can let our guard down. In real life, though, boundaries can be very tricky for ADHDers. And I think a lot of this has to do with the fact that we don't really understand what a boundary is. A proper boundary is simply a predetermined response to a specific situation. It's saying, if my friend says something mean, I'm going to leave the party. You can tell your friend that if they say mean things, you're going to leave, but you can't actually physically stop them from saying the mean thing. All you can do is follow the rules of the boundary you set for yourself. ADHDers have a bird's eye view. That means that we can see what others can't and understand where people are coming from, even if they're treating us badly. Understanding our core values can help us streamline the decision making in these situations, and that's going to help us stop people pleasing. But it's hard to know what your core values are because values are, well, valuable. I mean, everyone wants to be funny, smart, and kind. So if you don't know what you value, start with your strengths, because chances are your strengths reflect what you value most. And if you're still a little lost, check out the VIA Character Strengths Test online. It's free. I've mentioned it in my videos before. It's a great way to figure out exactly what you're best at. This should be your top priority if you don't know what your values are, because when you know your values, you are who you say you are. And now we're on number 3, proximity. This is one of my favorites because it has a lot to do with psychology, perception, and art. We're talking about the Gestalt theory. This theory is all about visual perception. It states that our brain's desire to simplify visual complexity is so innate that we do so without even realizing it. And we do it in a variety of ways. There's continuation, where a dotted line is perceived as a solid line. There's closure, where an incomplete circle is perceived as a complete loop. And then there's proximity, where elements that are grouped together are perceived in relationship to each other. So a grouping of items is seen as a single unit, but also if a boy and a woman are standing close together, a relationship is implied automatically. If they're far apart on the page, you're not going to make that connection. To establish a clear message in design, you want to avoid ambiguity. So you either need to group things close together or not at all. This works in real-life relationships as well. Studies show that the worst kind of relationships is not with your enemies. It's with your frenemies. The people that you're not quite sure if you like, you're not quite sure that they like you. Those relationships drain you more than any other. If you know you don't like someone, it's easy to stay away from them. And if you know you do, then it's easy to spend time with them. It's these relationships where you're not quite sure where you stand that drain us so much. You are better off solo than with somebody that is hot and cold. I know this can be scary to hear because ADHDers seem to exist in perpetual outsidership. But trust me, getting rid of these ambiguous relationships is going to open you up to all sorts of new adventures. The 4th design rule is contrast. ADHDers need to stop comparing and start contrasting. Contrast is often called the golden rule in design. It's that important. We see it everywhere, and you don't even realize it. Think of a white page and black ink. Contrast can create tension or balance, and the same goes in life as well. ADHDers compare ourselves to everyone to see if we measure up, which we rarely do because the metrics are wonky. We compare ourselves to people who are the least like us, spotlighting their punctuality and organization, hoping our chaos will just recede into the background. And we compare our worst days to our best days and conclude that we're not succeeding because we can't live up to our impossible standards. An impossible standard because best day streaks are not a real thing. ADHDers need to stop comparing and start contrasting. We're different. Embrace it. Because not enough contrast isn't just boring, it's unsettling in life and in design. We need contrast. It makes it easier to take things in, visually and mentally. Besides, ADHDers are naturally outstanding if we can get over our fear of standing out. You can use these design rules to revamp your entire life, but start small because we're already prone to overwhelm. Just pick one and work on it. If you know what you want and how to get it, repetition is the next step, and the next step, and the next step. If you're completely lost, start with alignment. If you're surrounded by naysayers, it might be time to think about proximity. This doesn't actually mean you need to get rid of all the people that don't understand you. If I were to do that, I don't think I would have anyone left. Look for groups and clubs with people that relate. For instance, I am part of a YouTube community because 98% of the people I know and love know nothing about content creation. I didn't need to distance myself from anybody. I just needed to find people that understood my challenges and victories. But remember, you are not meant to blend in with the crowd, no matter who you're with. Being an outsider looking out is a beautiful place to be. So stop comparing yourself and up that contrast. Thanks for watching. I'm Kristen. This is Creatively Divergent. Don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss out, and I'll see you next week. Bye.